Hello and welcome. My name is Waldo and this truck has another engine knock. In this video, I'm going to try to determine the cause of it. Also, I just created an Instagram account, so follow me on there if you'd like to see pictures and videos of what I'm working on in real time. My Instagram username is @WaldoWelds. Now, you may be asking, Waldo, didn't you just fix the injector knock? Yes, I did, but apparently this truck was full of knocks. I guess that's what you should expect when you pay $300 for a truck. The current knock doesn't occur all of the time. It seems to temporarily go away after the engine's been sitting for a while, but then once the engine runs long enough to warm up, the knock comes back. My hunch is that the issue is a worn piston pin or maybe a connecting rod bushing. In this video, I'm going to remove the oil pan so I can take a look. Alright, so here's the oil pan here. The first thing I'm going to have to do is drain the oil. Once that's done, right behind the oil pan, right here, there's this inspection cover. And this I'm going to have to remove because it's blocking access to the rear oil pan bolts, which you can't even see. And then once that's done, I can remove all the oil pan bolts. And hopefully I have enough room for it to just slide out. The only thing I'm concerned about is the oil pickup tube is going to be somewhere in here, and I'm going to have to slide the oil pan out this way, and the frame here is hopefully not going to be in the way, but we'll see what happens. Alright, here it comes. Alright, and now to remove the inspection cover. These oil pan bolts are really tiny. Alright, I think the rest of the bolts are going to be easier to access from the front of the engine. Working onto this truck is kind of a pain because it's so crouched, but here, let's take a quick break and I'll show you something. So this is my barn right here. I recently purchased this 2-post lift at an auction for only $900. It's got a 9,000 pound capacity. I'm planning on pouring a concrete floor in here and turning this into my shop. I'm really excited because it'll be nice not having to work out in the elements in my dirt and gravel driveway. Alright, so all that's left are 2 bolts in the back that are pretty easy to get to. Well, at this point, there should be nothing holding this on other than maybe some gasket sealant. So, it should come right off. Alright, I'm going to pry very lightly with a large flathead screwdriver. but I don't want to bend the edges of the pan because that could cause it to leak. Man, this thing's on good. Holy moly. This thing is on there ridiculously well. All right, so I'm having a really hard time getting this oil pan off. In fact, I've never had such a hard time getting an oil pan off. I'm not sure what kind of sealant they used on it, but whatever it is, it's extremely adhesive and it just won't come off. I've tried prying with a screwdriver and I broke this one. I've tried hitting it with a rubber mallet. I've even tried heating it up with a map torch to try to melt the sealant, and then prying with a screwdriver and hitting with a hammer, and that hasn't worked either. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to drill a hole in it so I have something to grab onto, and I'm going to hook a ratchet strap in here and just pull with it to break one side loose, and then I might do it with the other side as well. And then it's a steel oil pan, so if I don't end up just replacing it, I can weld it up to patch the hole that I make. Oh my God. It's not coming off. Hey, there it is. Yeah, it's completely off now. I had to pry a little bit at the front of the engine to get it loose. And now to fish this thing out of here. You know, I might end up having to remove this exhaust cross member anyway. Alright, I'm trying to remove the exhaust crossover here so I can remove this, this panel, and then that'll let me get the oil pan off. Alright, I got my pipe out. I'm fully expecting to break the heads off of these bolts. I don't think these are going to cooperate. Oh yeah, that feels like it's breaking. That feels like the head's just going to twist right off. Ah! Well, alright, the head didn't twist right off. But the bolt did snap. So, whatever. I'll deal with it later. Felt like that was another one. Yep. Broke another one. Let's see if I can do 3 for 3. Oh yeah, well this one. And that's number 3. But this thing came off, so that's loose now. And now for the other side. This one might actually be coming out. I don't know. I need a ratchet for this. So, good news is that it feels like the bolts on this side are actually coming unscrewed and not breaking, so that'll make my life a lot easier. This side also happens to be the side that's harder to access too. Really doesn't want to come out. The flywheel is in the way. Alright, so the oil pan is hitting this cross member right here, so I'm going to try to drop this down and it'll probably give me just enough clearance. The oil pan's hitting the flywheel right here, so I just need a little bit more clearance to get it out. Of course not. Alright, it's become clear to me that there's absolutely no way that the oil pan is going to come out with the engine in place. There's just not enough clearance between the flywheel, the frame crossmember, and the bearing caps of the engine for the oil pan to slide out. It's not going to happen. But if I can lift the engine up by an inch or two, maybe that'll give me enough clearance to slide it out. Let's give it a try. Alright, so I'm currently working on this piece of the puzzle. The engine mount bolt here can't come off because the starter here is in the way. So, see, it hits that. So I got to pull the starter off now to get the engine mount bolt out of the way. All right, that's about all the clearance I'm going to get. The fan's kind of hitting up here. Without disconnecting a bunch of other stuff, I'm not going to get any more clearance than that. And actually, I think there wasn't a lot of room on top of between the transmission and the cab. I really have very little room, but I may have gained an inch or two, so we'll see if that was enough. All right, it looks like I might actually have enough clearance now. Let's see if this comes out. Oh, it's close. Yep, here it comes. Yes. All right. So the oil pan looks pretty clean. No chunks of metal or any obvious problems in here. All right, so this is what the bottom end of the engine looks like. I went ahead and had a helper rotate the engine back and forth for me so I can check and make sure that everything looks tight. And it does look tight. I didn't find any issues. Although I did actually notice that the timing chain looks pretty loose. I don't think that would cause a knock. And maybe it's within spec, I'm not sure, but this engine has a bit over 200,000 miles on it, so it wouldn't surprise me too much if the timing chain was worn out and needed to be replaced or tightened if that's possible. As for the knocking noise, considering that it does seem to start after the engine's been running for a short period of time, I'm going to put my money on it being a piston pin. So once the piston warms up a little bit, it expands and creates some play which can cause a knocking noise. After inspecting the bottom end and not finding any obvious issues, I think the most likely cause of the knock is a worn piston pin. Note that the sound didn't occur until the engine ran for a little bit, probably just enough time for the piston to heat up and expand. Replacing a piston pin requires first removing the crankshaft, a major job. Considering that the engine has over 200,000 miles and sounds like it could use a refresh anyway, I think a rebuild is in order before putting this engine back into service. I'm leaning towards using this engine in a different project, something that doesn't require a ton of power. As for this truck, I'm thinking an engine swap would be a fun project. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. And don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to follow this project. Thank you for watching.